This is Israeli Technology Founders Speak, a podcast of conversations with successful Israeli high-tech and biotech entrepreneurs. With your host, Avraham Hermon. Avner Spector is the founder of Curespec, a MedTech company that developed a non-invasive device using low-intensity acoustic shockwaves to restore kidney function and lower blood pressure. Avner has over 30 years of experience in medical technology and has led advanced R&D in leading medical instrument companies worldwide. Avraham sat down with Avner to discuss how their technology works, the problem that it solves, how he came up with the idea, how he funded the company, the potential market, tips for startup founders, and much more. This podcast is a creation of J.M.B. Davis Ben David, an intellectual property law firm serving clients around the world. You have great innovations. We keep them safe. It's not enough to just have a great startup idea or innovation. If you don't legally protect your innovations, products, and brand, anyone can claim them as their own. We keep your great innovation secure. Learn more by going to jmbdavis.com. That's jmbdavis.com.
Thank you, Avner, for allowing me to meet with you here in your offices in Yehud. I'm glad to be here, and we're going to talk a little bit about Curespec and about kidney disease. And I understand that kidney disease is a very big need, and there are a lot of people suffering from it, and you attempt to deal with that disease. Can you talk about that and how you address that?
Kidney disease in the past, before I got insight for this, I thought it's only disease that's come from dialysis in the end stage, and I thought it's very simple and something that's not disturbed the life, maybe a little bit costly. It's taken me, when I got insight to this field more deeply, I learned how much it's much more. First of all, it's destroyed the quality of life of the patient. If you need to be 120 days in hospital for a few hours to get the treatment, it's one aspect, and usually you need 1 day to recovery. So most of your life, actually, you handle your disease, and you can't be any more active in working and social life and all those things. It's destroy the quality of life. Above it, the cost of it, usually to maintain a person in a dialysis is more than $100,000 a year.
Wow.
And also your life expectation go down dramatically, less than 5 years. And if you go to transplant, one of the options, first, the cost of it is nearly $500,000 and not 100% success. So
there's a huge waiting line for people to get a spare kidney.
Yeah. So basically, when you go to this situation, it's mean that you destroyed your life. And in some aspect, it's a silent disease. You don't see the symptom in early stage. There is a lot correlate to diabetic patient that you don't see what the damage that will be in long term. Usually it starts from high blood pressure, and then it goes dramatically to the kidney. 30% of the people that have high blood pressure suffering from kidney failure. And 90% of the people that they have a kidney problem, they have high blood pressure. So the relationship between them come very connected, and one influence of the another. And today even people see that's part of increasing blood pressure with people is due that the kidney reduced their efficacy to clean the blood. And that's the compensation usually by increase the blood pressure. That's the natural way of the body to compensate this effect. The high blood pressure is also very painful problem because it's one of the leading case for a stroke and other very costly and influence the quality of life. So when I got to this aspect, I see that it's a major problem, unmet problem. There is no solution. And we succeed to come with something that give another layer in the process to help to this situation.
So let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got to this, how you got to Curespec.
Since I was being child, I thought that I will be a mechanical engineer, and I developed new development. And my family is a background of industry. I think I'd been in the industry since I was being 16 years old. And obviously, when I finished the army, I go to learn mechanical engineering, work in the factory that the family was have in Sderot for a suppression explosive in armored vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been exposed to explosion and all those things. And then I work in Timna copper mine when I decide to leave the family and to go on my own way. And then I start in Timna copper mine. We deal with breaking big stone. And I joke about it that I've been tired from big stone. And then I come to work in a small stone and kidney stone.
Kidney stones,
and
okay.
that's what brings me to the medical field.
I see.
And I become in love in this field because I feel that I have the ability to come with new idea or to do it better and to make it more affordable and more efficient with better quality. And that's what drove me in my professional life.
Talk a little bit about how the idea behind Curespec was born.
As I say, I started in medical equipment in the shockwave technology nearly 35 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I start with lithotripsy, it's mean kidney stone disintegration, and learn about kidney activity and all what related to shockwave and scare.
So back then, kidney stones were dealt with using shockwave therapy?
Since 1982, it started, I've been involved more near the 90s.
Okay.
And then it started to develop application of a shockwave in a orthopedic with ununion fracture. And that's what led me to open a MedTech, my first company. And basically, I done it with a $20,000 purchase order that's cost me less than $5,000, but I need to open a company to be able to supply it and to do it. And I find myself as a company. And that's how I start my journey as entrepreneur, R&D, manufacturing, and selling and put things in the market.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the 90s, orthopedic already been more clear in the market, and people start, the medical community start more to be taking care to wound healing, especially with diabetic ulcer.
So you're saying using
shockwave technology.
Mm-hmm.
Shockwave, it's a pulse with very high pressure for very short difference. It's acoustic energy. Sometimes people think it's like a ultrasound. In some aspect, there is a lot of similarity, but there is a different effect on all those things. Both of them acoustic, both of them see high frequency, and it's a little bit confusing, but it's totally different effect between shockwave technology and ultrasound technology in medical therapeutic, imaging, and all those things. So we are specialized in shockwave technology for medical field. It starts, as I say, in the lithotripsy with a very high energy. We talk about 800 atmosphere. And when they start orthopedic, they go down between 300 to 500 atmosphere. This is on the level that still patient could be tolerate the pain. And the idea start with ununion fracture, and then it's go to other like shoulder calcification and other joint disease, and more clear. And they found that you can go down with the pressure, and they start to get effect of angiogenesis.
So angiogenesis for our listeners is formation of blood cells. So you're applying shockwave therapy in various parts of the body, and that's causing blood cells to be formed?
In some aspect, yes. Angiogenesis and shockwave is to deliver a low energy shockwave to the area that you want it to treat. This trigger a cascade of the body to release annulus and then VGF and create new small collateral blood vessel. Obviously, it's in the stage, and we'll go a little bit later to explain what is the benefit. The first time that people try to use this in the medical condition was being for ischemic ulcer that's usually they are related to diabetic. Most of them, it's a foot ulcer.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, we learned very quickly that it's very distinctly and not economic due to the nature that those people usually not working and the effect of this is not covered by the healthcare system because they don't see it as something that could be solved and not justified to invest the money.
Mm-hmm.
Since then, we tried to look for another field to go over, and we find that Essen University in Germany, they start to do some study relating using shockwave technology or low-intensity shockwave for heart disease, for ischemic heart, and usually for angina pectoris to reduce pain. Then we go over there, talk with Professor Erbel. He was being the chief over there. And we asked him about this, about the technology, and if he was willing to try our equipment. And he told me, yes, we don't have any problem. We don't have any commitment to the other company. We can do it. And I say, if we will send you in 90 days equipment, you will be able to start to do it. And he say, yes. And then I come back to the factory and we say, we have 90 days to send equipment.
Mm-hmm.
People told me that I'm crazy. No way this will do it. And I told him, don't worry. In any way, we'll place it enough here until they will finish all the paperwork to do a study. We'll have the right model to do it. And that's the way that we got to a cardio application with a shockwave.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the two companies that was dealing in this, MedTech and the other company, we done a mistake that we doesn't collect the economic aspect of the treatment. At that time, we thought that if we reduce the pain and its quality of life and eliminate the need to do a exploratory angioplasty procedure just to see that you don't have what to do,
mm-hmm.
definitely it will get reimbursement and will get to the market as a replacement that gives benefit to the patient. We need to understand that more than 20% of the people that will pass a CABG or angioplasty stent will remain with angina pectoris. The main reason because the small vessel, the collateral, doesn't open because you increase the blood pressure or anything like that. The advantage of the low-intensity shockwave that it gives a solution that's go behind the other solution. We're taking care for the small blood vessel and other solution take to the big blood vessel that you're doing with angioplasty, standing and all those procedures. Unfortunately, due to not collect the economic data, this treatment doesn't get inside as a part of the process that exists. But one of the cardiology doctor in Germany asked me what other option you can do in this aspect. And I told him, look, the same principle is erectile dysfunction working.
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, okay, what I need to do? And I say, use this protocol. I will send you a specific applicator to the Curespec that's deal the cardio that you will do, and you can treat patient and let me know what happened. And after a few months, he come to me and say, you don't believe what you've done. I say to him, I believe it. It start to work. He say, yes, I have a patient that his wife come to kiss me. That's after 8 years, he was been able to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And what nice about it, that's how we start and I invade the idea of low-intensity shockwave for erectile dysfunction.
Mm-hmm.
And today's the story. I met Professor Vardi. I convinced him to do the study. And that's how it's got inside. And today it's a common practice to one of the options for patients with erectile dysfunction is to go to a therapy.
So it's interesting. You got to that because of, in a previous indication, there wasn't the commercial fit for your product, right?
I more come to it because I all the time have an idea and I try to put it in the market. And whenever I have opportunity, at least in the past, it has been very easy just to try to see if it's work
Mm-hmm.
and then to see if there is economic aspect. And then if you see that all fit together, then you go and start to do the product and start to sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Today, with the regulatory effect in the medical field, is very complicated and you need to be very thorough. And that's bring me how I come to do the chronic kidney disease. A wife of a friend of mine was suffer from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And when they finished to do all the treatment, she was have a kidney problem. Then I told him, due to my previous experience with wound healing, cardiology, and erectile dysfunction, that I believe we can contribute to her kidney to help it. And I told him, look, we don't have any problem to develop the product. He was been in France and we'll send it to you. let me talk with your doctor. If you want, we'll do it. If not, that's okay. Then we talk with the doctor and say, we can't do it on people without the first clinical experience with animal. Unfortunately, he done a wrong experiment with animal. Doesn't been clear if it will go or not go. And it was lying on the table as some option that's waiting to be explored. And then I met people from Mayo Clinic, and they told me about the renal denervation to reduce blood pressure by denervate the renal nerve. And I say it's the wrong approach. You need to regenerate the nerve and regenerate the kidney. Let's go for it. And say, okay. And they succeed to achieve a grant of $3.4 million from the NIH to do animal study.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only study-related shockwave that start from solar level up to all the physics after that and all the effect after that, related to 6 article. And obviously, before we start this trial, I decide this is the time to write a patent. And we filed to patent for the method of using a shockwave technology, low intensity, for curing the kidney and reduce blood pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very interesting. Those patent was granted, their method patent. And that could give very nice example why previous experience helped a lot. Because the US examiner that's checked the patent, his first response say, shockwave to the kidney with imaging to target already known in the literature. This is a lithotripter.
Right. So that's pretty common in the patent process. Speaking as a patent attorney,
you're correct. That's close the deal. I insist with my patent lawyer that first we'll talk before we'll give him the response, because I believe we need to talk that he will understand why it's mistake. And when we have the conversation, we say to him, I start with this to say, you are correct. That's a shockwave kidney imaging is already known, but there is something else that you don't know. Shockwave in the kidney create increasing blood pressure as well damage to the kidney, and the FDA even opened investigation on this subject in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And he say, send me the right article and you have the patent.
So you were able to convince him that the therapy that you were suggesting, there was indication in the literature that it wouldn't work and it would have the opposite effect.
Yes. Basically, it's a principle to convince that you have a patent, especially to method something that people don't like to do, that you need to see that something behind the common practice in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the common practice in the industry, shockwave in the kidney, increase blood pressure and make damage to the kidney. And you come with a claim to say we do the opposite.
Mm-hmm. And how do you manage to do the opposite? What's unique about your technology that you don't cause damage to the kidney or you don't increase blood pressure?
The uniqueness about our technology is from a few aspects. First of all, we already know that a low-intensity shockwave create new collateral that could be help to the kidney. Our advantage cover with a few other patents that I have about the technology that give me the ability to do it in a wider area and let's cover more area, because the difference between this and a shockwave for kidney stone that you want to focus all the energy, here we want to treat a big area in as much as possible. You need uniform level of energy. In MedTech, we develop those technologies, how to create a small instrument that create a lot of energy and deliver it very spreadly and uniform with the right energy that's make this effect, and combine this together to make this do the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what unique our technology from any other shockwave manufacturer in the market.
Mm-hmm. I see. So what makes your product different than other competitors in the field that are using shockwave technology in this field?
Above the patent that we have and the technology, that's the unique. But it's more important to see the difference from what we are doing from other technology that taking care for treatment high blood pressure as well as kidney failure. Most of them working about delay the process.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk about renal denervation, they want to cut the nerve that give command to the brain or knowledge to the brain that will give command to increase the blood flow, to increase the filtration because the kidney doesn't work properly. We come in totally different approach. we regenerate the kidney as much as possible. We regenerate the activity of the nerve to understand that this different activity is done. And by this, and we are not therapeutical. So our solution gives another layer with the ability to treat kidney failure and blood pressure by adding pharmaceutical solution as well another solution that gives you back a few years.
Mm-hmm.
We already succeed to prove with our clinical data that we have that it's still limited, and that's what we're working to establish it properly, that we reduce the damage to the kidney, improve the filtration, or at least reduce the aeration of the kidney and reduce blood flow. And this is the 3 parameter that give you the burden how fast you will come to a total kidney failure that will require dialysis or a kidney transplant.
Okay. So I think you cover the technology very well, and we understand now how it works and what you're doing, and that you're in clinical trials, and hopefully you'll be successful and be able to show that it works in the clinic. Can we talk a little bit about where your investment is from?
First of all, it's a spin-off from my previous company. And we decided that this is the time to make a spin-off when we got the first patent.
Mm-hmm.
And then we understand that this could be option to raise money, and that's when we decide to do it. Before we make the spin-off, above the grant from the NIH for the animal study, we spent approximately $3 million to develop the product, do pilot study, and few other activity to bring it registration and all those things that give us to be available to get in the market. And when all this been mature and we got the patent, we decide to put it in the market and to start to raise money. And at that time, we already, if we take together, nearly $6.4 million already invest in the project directly.
Mm-hmm.
Since we done a spin-off and we start to raise money, unfortunately, we choose reality, make it the way that it's done during the Corona.
I see.
And nobody expected it. And when you start to do it during the Corona, they stop to invest money in those kind of field new development, long-term investment. Doesn't matter how much it's big.
Even though kidney disease is still a big problem as ever before.
Yes, it's also has been a very big problem in the Corona due to stop kidney working, and we know that this is something that could be exist, and that's something that we try to push it in that time, but it was premature mentality for the healthcare system even to try to save some life of people during the Corona. But definitely it stopped all the activity of raising money and to go in process. And then we start immediately after that to raise money. We raise approximately $1.5 million, and we start to activate the company, done more clinical trial in Shaarei Tzedek that's already in process to publish, and in Sheba and in Switzerland. So we're collecting more and more data, and we're talking with the big companies, show a lot of interesting in our field and what we are doing. They expect us to go a little bit further in the process before they will get inside. And the war and all those things also make a lot of problem to raise money at this stage. So we change a little bit our philosophy, and we start to make sales to make the project continue enrolling. But we are now in process of raising $10 million to do the clinical study for FDA in Europe, to put it in the guidelines and to make the reimbursement. And that's the process that we are doing.
Mm-hmm. Can you clarify, how do you start selling product before approval, for authorization?
When you talk about medical equipment, you look about few aspects. There is one aspect of registration like FDA approval and like CE, AMAR, and other things. And to get it inside, to get the reimbursement code and money behind it. The process usually is first to register the product, and then you start to work based on clinical study to put it in the guidelines. And then when it's in the guidelines, to go to the insurance or the government to file for getting inside and to be covered. So it's a long process, but the data that exists today regarding this product, so very strongly, there is no risk involved in this product.
I see. Okay.
The benefit, you can debate how much will be the real benefit, if it's as good as we have today, or what clinical trial in the future will show it less than what is now. But anyway, the clinical data is so strong that's no doubt this is beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
This allowed us to go to early stage doctors and that are more in the private market expected to do, and to put those devices inside. So in the Philippines, for example, we have 2 equipment. We now open a clinic with professor in Israel to give this treatment available also for people in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And we have in Panama. And above the ability to collect much more clinical data, not in experiment way, but in a different way, it's also give us the ability to lead revenue. However, if we want to go to the big market, it must go via the standard way to do FDA, to do enough clinical data, double-blind studies, with enough evidence that it's big, clear evidence that we collect the clinical aspect of this procedure, not only the fact that we give help to those people and delay the dialysis, because if we try to get insight to economic aspect of this, let's say that we make the treatment and we could delay the dialysis 1 year in 50% of the case.
Mm-hmm.
So we save nearly $100,000.
Right.
That's make it very economical to the healthcare system to pay at least $20,000 to try to save it. They will save $80,000. They save 80% from these expenses.
Yeah.
And we have another very interesting case. People, when they get to dialysis, the probability of succeed the transplant reduced by 50%.
Mm-hmm.
We have at least one case in Israel that was supposed to start, it was paramedic from the Strip, Gaza Strip, and she was insist not to go to dialysis, whatever will be the result. And we got her she got her about us, and she said that she wanted to try it. And actually, they already book her to start to do dialysis, and say, no way, I'm not going. And she got the treatment, and she succeeded to stay 12 months without need of dialysis, and until she got the cure and she got the transplant. And actually, we increased by 100% the probability of the treatment to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So we have some case story like this that you think that you do not only for the money, you do much more than money. You do something that saves a lot of quality. Not only quality of life, you do something as a humankind.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they say that Jewish people like tikkun olam.
Fixing the world.
I see it a little bit different, but when you do something like that it's not for profit, it's more to do something that give you value. I feel very strong about it, and I see a lot of value in those things.
I see that as well. I do interview a lot of medical technology companies, and I see that there's this common passion among founders that, hey, they're doing something that's impacting on a real way other people's lives. And granted, you have to always think about the technical details, the patents, the raising money. Is it going to be economical? All these things that you have mentioned. But in the end of the day, your goal has to be there as well. That the vision of.
I agree. You need to take in consideration when you look about traditional medical things that go to the traditional medicine. It's a process between 10 to 15 years.
Right.
To start parade like this, you don't have the patient and you don't want to look at it for long term, you will not go for it.
Mm-hmm.
The market, even if the market, like in our case, is billions of dollars, still the process is very long and a lot of things could be during the process. So
yeah, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about what tips you might have for founders. I think your journey is a bit unique in that this startup is sort of a spin-off of using technology that has been developed for many years, but sort of changing the focus of what disease you're treating. But maybe you can give some ideas to founders.
In the past, I was have a 2 patent on the wall. That's whenever somebody come and say, look, this is the first 2 patent that's right, and I have it here because I failed. It's been, don't worry to fail. Learn from this and go further. Problem will be exist. The purpose of the wall to make a problem in the process, your job to make it happen. Take it as it is, go. If you believe, go with it. But you need to open your eyes for a few things. You need, first of all, to see if you have economic value, if you give value that's worth to people to pay for it, and who will be the payer.
So be focused on the market.
But not only this. First, you need to see that you have solution. The solution have a value. If you have a solution that's not exist or exists and you give a value for this, that's give good and have sense about it, then you can go. And the second stage before you get inside, see that you have a market and how this market behave. In the medical field, there is a lot of way of market. There is the cash medicine, half professional and professional. Each one is a different burden in the process where to go. And you need to be ready for the process. The process intend to be long, costly, and take a lot of time. And you need to feel good. Sometimes I give advice. I will tell a small story. If people invite me to give a lecture in a regulatory seminar, like somebody from the industry will give his guidelines. And I give them a sample of the product in orthopedic. And I say, you need to do a lot of feasibility studies, small, unregulated or minimum regulated, to get an answer. And if you analyze it properly, then you know what you'll get and you can design your main clinical study and to go and to succeed with this. Obviously, it's the last time that they invite me to come. But this is my advice to somebody that's get inside. Find a way to make the simple first few clinical data that you will have a sense where you stand and what you want to do.
Interesting. One
of the main problems, regulatory people usually push you to do double-blind, very long study. The problem with this study, that it takes you a lot of money, a lot of time to know if you're right and wrong. If you go more on feasibility study, you are more flexible to change the protocol, what you need to measure, how to make a measure, and how to design the study properly, that you will have the right evidence in the next step. You will not run away from doing those studies.
Right.
That's no way that you will run away. But the probability of succeed with the main study, much higher, will save you a lot of money and a lot of time.
So you're saying basically get as much information that you can at a low cost quickly before locking into a study that's expensive and risky.
Yes, this is the consequence, but actually try to collect more clinical data that you know exactly what you're doing and what is the best protocol to do.
Okay, so now where do you think that we can see Curespec down the road? When do you think you're going to have a product on a market that we'll be able to see patients benefiting from? You already mentioned limited use in certain small jurisdictions. Where do you see Curespec a little bit down the road?
Obviously, Curespec intends to be a multi-billion-dollar company. The only question that exists, what the route that we'll get inside. It's clear to me that our impact on the medical field is very strong and it will not be able to eliminate. The question if we will be merged by one of the big company like Boston Scientific, Medtronic, or one of the another because they want to bring it, or we need to go on a process of raising the first round, second round, NASDAQ or any other stock exchange to able to increase the company from company that survive to go in the process to company with the financial capability to do the activity that's required for multi-million-dollar company. So know that about the treatment and about the company, it's something that's in 2 to 3 years, it will be a story that everyone that skipped the investment now will be sorry that he done this mistake. That's no doubt in my mind.
Interesting. So I think that you're definitely very optimistic, and it's good to hear that you're optimistic. And I'm wishing you and your company a lot of success, and hopefully your product will get out to the market and will help patients and help tackle this big medical need that's out there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for hosting me here and wishing you a lot of success.
Thank you.
That was Avner Spector, the founder of Curespec. We hope you enjoyed this episode. There are many more to come. Do you have a great innovation or startup idea? We'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to us by going to our website, jmbdavis.com. And if you go to jmbdavis.com/startup, you'll see we have a special site specifically made for startups to help startups protect their innovations. Please be in touch with us and find out how we can help you. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to bringing you the next episode.